Okay, we're back on. Okay, we're back on. Okay, great. Now I can hear myself. Okay, we're back on. Okay, great. Now I can hear myself. Okay, we're back on. Okay, great. Now I can hear myself. Okay, we're back on. Okie doke. All right then. Let's just dive right into it. So, I'm using my own library for doing completion. So prompt completion. Friday morning, nice and sunny. Okay, so what I've essentially done is I've just set up this meta agent, and now what I'm going to do, I've set up my prompts folder, and I've got my agent here, and I'm just going to give him some properties, and let's just get to it. Okay, so agent, let's see, it needs right, an agent has a name. Let's give it an ID. So these guys can have like UUIDs. Self ID equals UUID dot UUID4. Yeah, cool. So they get a random UUID, self dot, and then later on when we're actually like loading in agents from workflow or something like this, then that'll work out right. The whole idea of this, in fact, let me just do some good coding practices here. And let's start a little bit of a doc string going at the top, but we don't need all the extra. Thank you very much, VS Code. I like you a lot. Meta agent. An agent, wait, yeah, fuck it, okay. An agent that generates other agents. The idea of this project is to make to quickly get any agent that can perform multi-step tasks. Easy instantiation, easy generation, prompts, let's do prompts. I like to call this prompt, what's the word? I just thought I should probably drop this link in some places. Okay, I'm using my phone to drop this link in some places. Yeah. Twitch TV. Oh, not TC. All right, so kind of like the idea of my channel is that I want to take this on sort of like a coding adventure type of a deal, where I'm going, like, I use this channel to sort of just log my explorations into LLMs, deep learning stuff. I've got like quite a few different projects over here, quite a few repositories on GitHub, and I also have another account, which is the company account. And that one is like that one has a couple of pretty nice repositories on it. Did some good work this year, I think. But point is, let's see. Let's go over. Yeah, this is my this is my current stack. If you're not on Signal, get that. All right, so back to this. We want to do easy generation based on prompts, easy agent. Prompt. I call this. I don't know. I should call it prompt bubbling. It's not bubbling necessarily. So bubbling is this DOM term. It's a term from web development, from doing design and interacting with the elements on the page programmatically. There's this whole idea in JavaScript called event bubbling. And what that means is that there's like, okay, your document can be seen as like a hierarchy. So you've got, maybe I should pull out draw. Yeah, okay. Let's just make a new diagram, create. All right. Meta agent. Okie doke. All right, so what we got here is we have a sort of a, let's just do one of these, and let's call this the meta agent. No. Okay. Make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so we've got our meta agent here, and this guy is kind of like let's make him let's make him purple, because everything nowadays that has to do with AI is purple for some stupid reason. Not quite sure why, but we'll see. We'll see if that. I mean, I guess it's the trend, so whatever that has to be. All right then. So with your meta agent, you get a prompt, and this prompt gets fed into your meta agent. Get in there. Let's align you nicely, and you don't need to be so big. Boop, boop. All right. So you got your prompt, and that's getting fed into the meta agent. Zoom in a little bit more, and then your meta agent is doing a generation process. Cloud. Let's just call this. Let's do a parallelogram. So generate. So the meta agent has a generate function. That goes directly there. Let's pull this up a little bit. So, right, you might have noticed that I'm like, I've stopped coding, because I realized like I need to show this idea real quick before and I need to like think it out myself as well. I'll make this prettier later. And so, when you generate an agent, let's just say that this is going to be a one-to-many sort of a relationship, because so the prompt is given to the meta agent, and the meta agent's like, okay, cool. I'm going to make, you guys might have heard of Crew AI, or like, well, I mean, Devin is like the most current, most popular, and most expensive, until OpenAI releases their $2,000 business. I'm pretty sure that they've, in fact, it's probably already done, considering how fast things move. Their enterprise level ChatGPT, which is $2,000 a month, PhD level thing that's supposed to be able to replace you. If you've ever watched the Primeagen in the last like couple weeks, you'll see he's been messing around with Devin. It's not so amazing. Not so amazing, as it's again the hype. And then recently there's like a whole bunch of, I don't know, real IRL ad trolling going on for replacing people. I don't know. I'm not going to open YouTube right now. So let's see. You have your actor. No, actually, let's go with, I don't know, what are our agents going to look like? Actually, okay, that's a better idea. Let's have it be the thing that it's supposed to be, right? Like, this is a process. Generate. And then, so through the generate process, you then get an agent. I mean, we could use the actor. I just don't like making a little. So we'll make it like, what do we use? No, not a triangle. It's two. I need something more. Ah, screw it. Let's use a hexagon. Yeah, hexagons are in. Okay. Agent 0. Okay. Now the other question is like, do we want to take these agents and do we want to put them in some sort of like, okay, let's just say you do the generate process and then you end up with something like this. What's the duplicate button? Is that Control D? Yay, it is Control D. Okay. Okay, so you get some like get some of these guys going. Not sure that that's, there we go. And let's do one more. Since this is all hexagonal, we'll make it look hexy. Okay, so what have we got going on here? Well, we have a, oh, we should move this over. Oh, okay, this needs to be, aha. Nah, let's make him closer. Okie doke. All right. And let's move all you guys over here. And here's the idea, is that like you might have, let's do a router. Okay, let's do a router. In fact, let's work with something more like this. So it's more equidistant. I'm not sure that that's quite, that looks more like a hexagon to me. Okay. So just move in one. All right. Oh, they're not the same size. Okay. Great. What? Okay. In fact, geez. Oh, dude, what is going on here? All right, you know what? Screw it. Control D. You get one. Control D. You get to go over here. Control D. Yeesh. Control D and Control D. Okay, it doesn't quite fit, but whatever. Oh. There we go. Get in there, you little guy. Okay, and essentially, these agents are not really connected in this way. What's happening is there's another agent, Control D. Bam, right here. This guy is not your average agent. He is an agent that is doing routing. So, all right, so this is all going to be generated by the generate system. So let's make the routing agent, I don't know, we're already going with some really weird colors. Let's make him green. Let's make the routing agent green. Okay, routing, okay. And let's just call these like agent Uh, can I subscript? Yep. N plus 0. Okay, so hear me out. Agent N plus 0, like whatever. Well, we'll just say agent N, right? Because I'm not trying to get mathematical on this. I just need something that looks nice. Okay. So. All right. And so now, grab all you guys. Let's all move over here. And in fact, this is all inside of a thing that is generated. We're gonna move that to the back, and we're gonna go like this. All right. Let's just group all of these. Sweet. Now we can just plop you around. Okay, background on this should be like a grayish. There we go. And then, of course, let's align you. You're not quite. You don't want to. Why don't you want to line up? Okay, sure. Just go up a little bit. Okay. Now, this is the essential idea. So you've got the first agent, which is your meta agent. It has a generate process. The prompt is some information from the user. Then, but it could even be this. Okay, so here's the other thing too. Everything in this whole architecture is just an agent, so to speak. So we're not trying to make a thing that makes other things. We're trying to make a thing that could make itself, thus, and then prompt a copy of itself or something like this as well. And we need also it to be, so any of these agents need to have a routing policy. So there's a thing here saying like, right, here, and agent result. Okay. So we're gonna say here that the result is so one routing agent config. Routing, this needs to be so, okay. So there's the routing agent configuration. The routing agent, so configuration is going to consist of like the system stuff, system prompt, obviously, like so it's identity and stuff, but we'll get into that. Let's go routing. So there's a routing agent, there's a routing policy, and here's the thing: we're not gonna make this whole thing controlled by LLMs. The other idea here is use as many other soda methods. Soda. O-T-A. Okay, so use as many other soda methods for agents as possible. Should we give them a function? Let's give them some. Let's give them a tool set, right? Like, so let's give them a set of functions that they can generate. So they need a function like index, or function matrix. That's not going to be a matrix. It's just going to be a storage for code, maybe. Okay, so we're not going to get too far into just like all that stuff anyway, because that is, let's just see. We'll give it a name. Name. You get a name. Okay. This is Python, but I do like typing. So please use types when you can. It'll make your code more readable. Let's just make this optional by setting it to none. And so it's going to always have an ID no matter what, but it could have a name. It should always have a name. And then it's going to have a data. So data is a dict. And right now it's nothing. Name is a string. And I'm not going to do the type on UUID. Oh, wait, no. Let's do that. Let's make that into a string. Okay, so your ID is also a string. We don't really need to do stuff with the UUID. We just need a string that's definitely going to be as unique as possible. Well, just, given the built-in stuff. Okay, cool. So there's our agent, and you might ask, okay, why? What about the other properties of the agent? Well, that's just all in data now. So what we're essentially doing is, this is an idea from like just databases essentially, where an entry in a database has an ID, and then it has maybe one other piece of information that can be used as an index, within some sort of other reference or relationship. But then so that would be the name, and then in this case the data would be the rest of the columns. But in more modern databases like PostgreSQL and everything that uses it, like Supabase and so on and so forth, you've got a JSON, a binary JSON type, which can store JSON objects, and it stores it in binary, so it's like nice and compact in storage. So, all right, enough of that. An agent. Okay, right, an agent has a generate function, right? That's our generate function here. Boop. Generate. So again, I'm trying to make this as agnostic as possible. All right. Now I've already got my prowl environment variable set up, so I'm pointing this at VLLM, which is that's in my environment variables, which I will not show you, but those are actually posted within this whole VLLM setup. So here we go. Stack equals prowl stack, and let's set the folder to prompts. And let's set the, okay, that should be fine for now. We're not using like any tools within Prowl. We're not using Prowl tools. So the way that Prowl works is, well, okay, I can't actually show you on this, so we'll not even get into that. But we're just using the standard, default thing. And essentially if you want to think about it like this, think about it like I'm writing a prompt that's going to give me that I can declare some variables in, and then also use variables that I've input here. So for instance, and this is all async, which because we're using this in production. So all right, And also it's going to be 2025 soon. If stuff that takes long in Python is not using async, it shouldn't be used. Not in any Docker container or server environment or anything like this. That just leads to horrible thread stacking on the wrong layer. So, all right, stack equals prowl stack folder prompts. Should I put the? I'm not sure if I don't remember if I do need to put the trailing slash or not. All right, so then await. Okay, so result is equal to, and I might even import here just to be again type friendly. Result. Wait, what was it? Result. No, damn it. R equals prowl return. No. Okay, right. I think it was this. Prowl. All right, and then I can access that prowl return. So this is a prowl return type. I'm just going to set it to R. Our result, and I'm going to await stack run, and then I can. So essentially, the stack is like a chain in LangChain. So I can just say run agent. I don't need anything else after it. I don't need it to be like, feeding into anything. I do need some inputs. So what I'm going to do here is inputs equals inputs, and I'm going to say here inputs dict equals none. And I might need to inputs update here with some extra information, quite possibly whatever so the inputs are going to be things that show up as variables here, which is denoted by this. I'm a variable. All right, so okay, but that's a variable reference, and so this is a variable. I'm a reference, and this is I'm a declaration. And a declaration of a variable in prowl always has two arguments to it. The first argument is how many tokens you're going to use. So let's say I use 8 tokens, and this also is lenient, so it'll give you half again the amount of tokens just by default. I could set that in when I'm actually calling stack run. Over here, I can say continue ratio. So the continue ratio is right as default at 0.5, so that's half again, right? So I can get up to 12 tokens. I know that's a little bit confusing, but it'll make sense later because it's really hard to determine how many tokens you're actually going to use, because a token in an LLM is not some set amount of characters. It's not like one letter or number or symbol. It's not even 2 or some set number of symbols. It's an arbitrary number of symbols, which doesn't make hardly any sense to anybody. So you could think of it as a probability distribution with an average at 4 characters, but that's not fully accurate. So if you were to say, okay, let's say that I was going to put like a person's name, right? Cool. So a name is going to have how many tokens? Like, let's say my name has 9 characters in it. So if that was supposed to be represented in tokens that the average is 4, I could say the name has 3 tokens in it, and that would account for a name of up to and around 12 characters, but not necessarily, give or take like 2 or 3 characters. Yeah, it's pretty convoluted. All right, that was the first argument. And then the second argument, and these are the two major things that I always have to use when I'm prompting any LLM. So I've built it into my language so that I don't have to worry about, doing a whole bunch of Python to represent this stuff that's actually just all text. And I don't have to, you'll see here that I won't even have to parse through any of this stuff. It'll just come back into data, which is exactly why earlier on I was saying, bam, that. So that was a very long deep dive into what should be some broad strokes, but that's fine. This is a pretty chill morning. So, all right, let's set the temperature, and we can set the temperature 0, it's 0.7, whatever it is that you want to use for your LLM. But okay, I'm done with that. Let's try to get into a little bit of thinking about everything on a prompt level, right? So our prompt itself is all going to be here in agent, right? Sorry about that. So our prompt is going to be an agent, and this is going to be, these are going to be the inputs. So we've got well, what are we trying to do here? Right? This is the generate function. We need a routing policy. So first off, we need to say, like, you know, define the agents, right? As well. That kind of needs to go. That actually kind of needs to go there. Generate complete each agent. Okay, so if you think about it like this, routing policy. So our routing policy should be able to have hierarchic route and a peer route. Okay, so the hierarchic is like parent-child relationship essentially, and I spelled it wrong. Yay. Good old English. You can never count on it to be consistent with anything, but your English teacher will count on, or your grammar teacher will count on you to be consistent. All right, so complete each agent, essentially. So this is going to be two different things going on here, right? So first off, I want to have a prompt that is going to say, right, what are all the agents that we need, right? So we need to break down the problem first, right? So under generate, we're essentially going to be like, oh, no. Under generate, we're going to break down the problem. So we're going to say generate. So first things first, break down the problem. So you can think of prompting with an LLM as a set of steps, right? So if you think about it like a chat that you're having with ChatGPT or Claude or any of the other chat agents that exist, there's thousands of them literally. If you chat with any of them, you will realize that there's some specific things, like some specific conversations that have like a flow to them that you think about it and you're like, oh, you know, this could probably be a process. And actually a lot of ideas have come around just from that, from chatting to the agents. Oh, I think I need to help a four-legged friend go relieve themselves. So I will be back. For now, I'll just leave you with the sort of the view of like what we're talking about here. And again, who am I making this for? Me, essentially. I just kind of want to see if I can make this work. Yeah, one moment. Alright, I'm back. Figure out how to put this headset back on. Alright. So where we're going with this? Break down the problem, right? These are the steps that we're going to take inside of our prompt. Oh, I'm sort of watching this on Twitch. I think I'm going to have to pause it and go back because I can't concentrate if my. There we go. Too much clutter on the desk. Okay. So, I'm going to, in here, what we're going to do is we're going to break down the problem. And what that means is take into consideration exactly what needs to happen. Okay, so you'll see here in a second that this is actually just what I'm actually building right here is almost the exact program that I'm gonna prompt, and then that prompt is gonna roughly act, with a little bit of tweaking probably, how it needs to act. So break down the problem. Define agents needed. Define routing policy. Multi-choice. Give this some more space. Okay, so we have a multi-choice sort of in a thing on the routing policy. Like, do you want it to be, quite possibly what we could do is we could do something where you're showing the routing policy that that it could use, or you're choosing like a routing policy, and then based off of that, you can figure out after you define. So once you have the agents defined, right, it's like, okay, these are the agents that I need, right? And this is what I need the relationships to be to each other, essentially. Like what's going on here is I set it up in like a hexagon to make it look pretty, but what this really is a graph. Otherwise known as a network. Graph is a very mathematical term for it. Let's make it look. Let's make it look a little bit more cringy. Ooh, I could do custom. What? Don't make me. Oh no. Oh no. Is there one called Cyberpunk? No, there isn't. Okay. No, that's fine. We'll stick with Helvetica. But we'll make it like, ooh, it's like a apply. All right, well, let's make it stupid purple. Okay. All right then. It's gonna be so purple and green, like the Joker or something from that one stylized Batman. All right. Define routing policy, multi-choice, and then what else are we gonna do? Let's go with like it would be so cool to play this back later on like a super fast playback. Let's see. Oh, on Blast, check this out. This is what I was doing yesterday.
I said, Shiva.
So this is the music is just like a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. I just typed in, literally I just typed in like cyberpunk, cyberpunk D&D.
I said, Shiva.
I think it actually says Shiva.
I said, Shiva.
But the interesting thing about this one is that my this is 30 minutes of work, and it's compressed down into basically a minute. So it's a fun little thing, and I sent it to somebody, and like this is the most boring work that I've done in a long time. It's just data I'm like looking at a PDF and then going back over here and entering. I'm making a template out of another PDF that references the first PDF. Woof, man, it's a heavy one. But at the same time though, if you speed it up to like 30x and then you stick some DNB on there, you're good to go. You're fine. Like this is perfect TikTok content. You've taken something that was like actually somehow quite possibly holds valuable information for people, and you've turned it into brain rot. That's like this is the trend. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, let's do this. Let's not brain rot ourselves out. I'm gonna use that as a screensaver though, essentially, when I'm away with IRL junk. All right, because I somehow have to justify that they're asking for $20 a month for just being able to fill out a PDF template. There was this whole thing, SAS is dead or whatever. Why vertical LLM agents are the new $1 billion SaaS opportunities. SaaS is. Oh wait. YouTube. SaaS. Software. Oh, sorry. SaaS. SaaS. Damn it. Let's just go to my YouTube history. I don't care. This is me getting distracted from what I'm supposed to be doing. It's getting crazy. Yeah, it's always getting crazy. Yes, these are people who I could subscribe to. What was the one though? Let's browse through my YouTube history. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, this is me watching Prime. But also I watch a lot of other good stuff like Anton Petrov. He's pretty cool. A lot of other stuff I watch. Where is the thing though? Oh, AI isn't going to kill SaaS. Okay, so Nate B. Jones, which is not me.
Adobe had to go through this whole
but he's another Nate who's a cool Nate. I'm gonna give him a like. I'm already subscribed to him. Nate B. Jones. He talks a lot about. He's more like a cool-headed type of software/book bro. And where is the thing? He said he linked it somewhere. The new era of software creation. The funny thing is, there's like a video from like 9 years ago or something that talks about this same exact thing. We thought we had it then, and we think we might be able to get it now. But I mean, it is interesting when essentially you can make an interface that just codes itself inside of one HTML file. Yes, I'm talking about IBIS. Anyway. SAS is dead chatter. Oh, is it this? SAS is under pressure. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Jesus. No, I'm not going to go through that. All right. Closing YouTube. Back to work. Back to work. Define the routing policy, multi-choice. Okay, so I need to get the routing policy here because I need to know, okay, like, is this agent, what's their relationship to the other agents? Are these guys all just peers? Are they linked to all of each other? Is the routing just like is it just like a chat, and their relationship to each other is just like a thing that's per agent? So like, question, is this per agent? So the hierarchic and peer relationships, maybe I could just have the, I could just define, like, okay, hear me out here. What if I stick them basically in a Slack chat, just like Crew, right? And what if there's some agents that are essential? Like, what if? Okay, Jeez. I still need to be taking some more notes here, I think. Okay, questions. What are agents that should be system default? Should there be set agents that load into every, I'm not going to call it a crew, to every graph? Don't want to call it a graph either, but all these fucking words are taken anyway. It's all just toy words. Okay. Should there be set agents that load into every graph? Like, for instance, the coding agent or the bash agent. You know, should those types of things? Okay, so agent library. This is how you know. This is how you know ChatGPT didn't code this. Agent library. So should we have an agent library? Like, okay, the idea is reusable agents. What are we gonna do here? I mean, okay, thinking about it like this. Let's think about this for a second. If there's this meta agent, let's use our visual aid. So we got our meta agent guy over here, right? And he's like, oh, you know, this human told me, or this other thing told me to make a thing. He gave me some input, and I need to generate some output. And he's like, I need to break down the problem, define which agents are needed, define the routing policy, okay? All right, and I feel like I can be taking these notes literally inside of my Prowl script because those can just be, so here we go. Generate agent, like there's this other one called Swarm. I don't know, all these guys are using all these fancy words and shit and then releasing these open source projects that are just based off of other open source projects. Like, dude, you know, okay, just how you, like the same thing is, besides looking at my one viewer count, you know if a person, or you know if you've become popular essentially by, if you have haters, right? So the more haters you have, the higher tier level of popular that you've become. But is it because you have to step on some people's heads to like hate, you know, get the hate? Or is it just literally jealousy? I don't know, that's the question. All right, so generate an agent, an agent. We got like, all right. I gotta figure out I don't know. First I gotta figure out how to get some actual people watching this thing in Twitch. It's like, what the smack? All right, let's generate an agent, and that's our task. So generate agent generate agent team. Let's just call it a team. This is LLM talk anyway. I'm talking to an LLM here. This is not for you guys. Create a team of agents. Why not? Define and configure a team of agents. So I always start with like I use Markdown, okay? I know this is called a .prowl file. It might be confusing to people. That's fine. It's just how I use my, how I'm able to basically find the things from my language interpreter that this is. But I'm using Markdown. That's why you see this. So this is like a header 1 if this was a Word document. I suppose I could get a Markdown viewer for VS Code, but nar. nar. So define and configure a team of agents, right? Now, what I'm fist to do is define and configure a team of agents to solve to perform the required, no, to complete the required project. Okay? Now, here's an interesting thing. So, right? What are these? So, requirements agent. This is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and it's a long time coming. The requirements agent. This is very important. Why? Because, you ever start off on a project, on a dev project, and there's like somebody who's your client, right? you know those clients. You ever start off on a project and then somebody's like, hey, all right, we need this, that, and that. And you're like, okay, cool. You take your notes down and stuff. You're like, you guys got any like examples for me? And they're like, yeah, these things, that things. Okay, take down more notes. And essentially, but they're asking you to start a project that's like very large. And, there's almost no organization around what they want. They don't even have any libraries. So essentially what you have to do as a developer is be a requirements agent. And that's the thing that, as a developer, I never had that skill. So I had to work on that skill a lot. And some of it was just from basically just bad, hard lessons. Hard lessons are like the best teacher, though they hurt a lot, though. Or I like to call them IRL lessons, because they're the only real, learning that I think is actually possible for humans, which is you experiment something and then you try it out and it either works or it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, if you try again, you'll probably learn something. And if not, then you won't learn anything. You'll move on to learn other things. So let's see. The idea is, okay, requirements agent. So the requirements agent does the shitty job. Does the job of figuring out what the fuck. Okay, so we're also gonna make a class chat room. Yeah. Now, this is gonna be a wrapper around something most likely, so I'm just gonna define the essentials of it. And you might see why here in a little bit, because I also am a person who uses ChatGPT to code stuff. But also I don't like to, if I'm using my own libraries and stuff like that, ChatGPT don't know what the fuck I'm talking about most of the time. So what I have to do is be like, look, ChatGPT, just here's my stuff, and be like, here's this to do, finish this shit. No. No, but that actually works. You can give it a whole bunch of to-dos in here, and then you could say, okay, in your prompt ChatGPT, fill out the to-dos. And that literally, if you take that request and you take this input and you just modularize those two things, instead of going to ChatGPT and saying it, you're like, I want to run it as an agent. Then all of a sudden you've got this, what is that called? Something agent. You've got a to-do agent, which, right? To do, initial code, full stack dev, or compartmentalized jobs. You've got the other parts of a project, right? A QA agent, okay? These guys are like, oh man, QA agents, is this really what we need? Is this all good? Does this code work? I gotta test stuff. Test stuff, break stuff, complain. That's what QA does. It tests stuff, it breaks stuff, and it complains about stuff that's broken. Okay, so, okay, I'm thinking about like also, okay, let's call this a channel, just to be, and you know, this could even be something that's like, okay, could be wrapper for some sort of real-time communications. Now, go minimal, go Slack, Yada API, pass. All right, I pass on this for now. And that's what, literally, okay. This is one of the biggest things that I really like about Python, is that you can just come back to something later. Like, right, you do have this whole thing where because of the way that it does indentations, it expects some sort of a code, not just comments after everything, otherwise it's going to be an error. So they've invented the word pass to just mean, yeah, I don't give a shit right now. I just want it to be there so that I can do broad strokes and get the entire the skeleton done, you know? All right, so the chat channel. I don't know. Let's give it. You know what? Instead of that, let's just do the basic, you know, self-respect. I've got a UUID because you'll also see later that this really helps, because when I want to take an ORM, I don't know what you guys, maybe some of you don't know what that means as well. I want to take an ORM and I'm like, oh, I got to put this in a database, right? Everything already has its UUIDs, and you can essentially just take all this information. These are just your fields, and your ID is your key. And if I was to make like, in fact, you know what? I've got to do that. I've got to make a channel. What does it have? Self agents. So, dict. Yeah, dict_stir agent. Okay. And let's just make that an empty dictionary. Because when you say the word dict, as it's said, dict, it's really hard if if you're from the U.S. and we don't really say the T's like everybody else. So it comes out to sound really bad. Are you getting dictionaried? Yes. So let's see. Getting some dictionaries. Let's see. Self-agent dictionary. Okay, I think that's the minimum I'm going to put in there, right? The rest of it actually has to be some sort of a wrapper code around something that I didn't code myself, because I'm not like that type of guy who likes to recreate everything. I only recreate the things that suck, and I only make things that are, if I'm recreating it, I'm doing it because it's interesting to me, or it sucks, right? Like, if it's interesting to me, I'll be like, hey, cool, this is cool. I don't care that, everybody's written a function that returns the Euclidean distance or whatever. I want to write my own Euclidean distance function. God damn it, Pythagoras, get over here. And so the point is, yeah, let's just, you know what, fuck it. Let's just get back to this. I feel like I'm sitting here alone, talking in a room of nobody, with just a computer, talking to a computer. In fact, that's what I do. That's what I've been doing my whole life, just talking to these stupid computers, man. Now they're starting to get a little bit more smart, but they're mainly dumb. Define and configure a team of agents to complete the required project. So, you know what? I'm going to invite somebody else too, if they're around. Well, I've been around. Whoa. Damn. Someone just came in and dropped the chat bomb on me. Banned. Wait. Should I ban you? Cookielet. Cheap viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the spit. Man, no. No, you're getting banned, yo. First, first ban. Then I'm gonna delete the message. Spam. Spookum. Spam. Span bam. Span hammer. Span bammer. Blam. Alright. Cool. Cool. Okay. Let's continue. All right, so I'm going to define and configure the team of agents to complete the required project. Then I'm going to, right, this is a header 2, define critical thinking. Project request. And I think I'm going to rename this to be like team, because agent is going to be its whole other thing. So, in fact, yeah, what I'm actually doing is the team prompt and not the agent prompt. Although, you know, I just called it something in the very beginning, just to get something in there. Okay. Decompressing thoughts into actual code. We're getting there. So one of the interesting things, so first off, user request. Okay. Now, okay. This is going to be, so the challenge in this project, generate each agent. And then under this is going to be script prompt writing prompt. Okay, this is why this is called a meta agent, because we're literally going one step back. You're peeling back the onion and you're going, okay, I don't want to be writing this. Like, I personally don't even want to have to do any of this as the programmer. I just want to say, hey, you, whatever your name's gonna be, meta agent or Bob or something. Let's just go with a standard. You know, let's go with biblical standard for the Western world. John. No, that's one of my friend's names. Statistically, that's like impossible. You don't have a friend named John, I think. But okay, so we've got your project request. User request, critical thinking, and so this is going to be, so first thing we have here is user request, right? So under generate, let's call this one generate team. No. Yes. No. Okay. Right. I do it. This is so. Folder, none. Okay, let's set this into like working variables. Runtime. Okay, so this is actually going to have, so what I'm defining here, okay, this is also another, essentially what I'm doing in the very beginning of all my code is I'm decoupling my thoughts of what the hell all of this idea even means, right? Like by defining these classes, I get to sort of take notes almost in Python directly of like, hey, this is this, that's that, so on and so forth, right? So meta agent is going to be generating a team of agents. Okay, this might be a multi-run thing or a whatever. It could be hierarchically set up. It could be a pipeline. We'll see. We'll figure it out. So essentially, this guy needs to say self.folder. And we're just gonna go directly prompt to prompt. I always like to leave those little trailing commas in Python. I know it's not the best practice in JavaScript, but in Python, I love it. So user request. It can be really seriously anything. You know what? Let's just be consistent, like my literature. I think it was my literature teacher. Yeah, writing essays. If I'm gonna make a mistake, just always make the same mistake, and that way it'll be easier to replace. As a programmer later, I realized that one. So let's call this just prompt. Right, and the prompt is gonna be like our variable that we use to just say, you know, this is all well and good and stuff, but blah. Okay, so self stack is going to be a list of strings. Right. Okay, so tasks. All right, so tasks. Task name, and you're gonna have to give the name of the task. By the way, I don't like to use Copilot. You might be wondering, oh, if this guy's a big AI guy or so on and so forth, why doesn't he use Copilot? Like, it depends completely on the project that I'm working on, what I'm gonna use, just like every project that I ever work on. And that's kind of like also one of the things that I want to really get down here is, you know, I don't really want to be doing set agents. I want those to be part of an agent library that gets created by our meta agent. So I do have to make, obviously, once I work out like the ins and outs of all this stuff, I might be able to just merge these two classes. Like, I don't have to have a difference between an agent and a meta agent, but maybe I think I will have to do that. Okay, so this is gonna be, okay, all right, so this is gonna be that, and assert len self tasks is greater than, is greater than, blah, is greater than 0. Wait, how the hell do I use assert? Okay, so this would be an example where I would use Copilot, but like literally, I mean, come on. I have to click on a thing and then like click on another. Okay, so whatever. A statement exists. Blah blah blah. Just show them. Just assert condition. If not condition, raise assertion error. Okay. So if I wanted to raise the assertion, oh, to print a message. Oh shit! Assert condition message. You'll see if you're running a okay. All right. So I could just go without the because essentially I'm just sending it a tuple of arguments to the assert, but the assert is an operation and not a function, which is why it doesn't have to have the parentheses around them. All right, so assert len self. Yeah, you're fucked. Where's your tasks? All right. Okay, cool. Now then. All right, so really what I'm doing here, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to say that whatever it is that the agent is trying to generate, it's going to have its own little tasks thing. And let me just also make an atomic self. So these are parts of like how prowl itself works. It's going to be a bool, and currently it's set to false. That's the default. So we'll just use that as a default into the stack run. Atomic equals self atomic. Okay. And essentially that's, you know, what is that going to do? Well, that is going to make it so that we have just open up chat in there. Yeah. Well, okay, I had to ban my first person. I guess that's a good Twitch. Why don't they give me an achievement for that? Your first ban. Woohoo! Ban them. Let's do it. All right. So, okay. You're fucked. Where's your tasks? And, right. I didn't even need generative AI for figuring that one out. Figuring out how to use assert properly. The other thing is this. You know, the human brain can only remember so many things, right? So if you're new to coding, don't think that you need to know everything that, you know, there is nothing that you need to know, that you need to remember beyond, you know, being able to think clearly, logically, something out, and then being able to troubleshoot and read code. So it's like syntax, knowledge, okay, knowing what you're gonna be doing, or what it is that's involved in what you're doing, or at least knowing how to define, how to explain what you're doing to somebody or something that can tell you the names of the things that you're doing so that you have reference to those. And essentially that's just all knowledge domain stuff. So as a programmer, you know, you're not always up to date on what the knowledge domain for everything is. You know, if you're writing prompts for something, and let's say it's an image generator, you know, you don't know how to do, maybe you're not a photographer, maybe you're not a painter or something like this. So how do you know all the technical terms that you need to put into that prompt? That's all domain knowledge. So, and that's also why prompting still continues to be a skill issue. And I think it will probably always be a skill issue until you know, some sort of an algorithm gets better at that than humans. But the thing is like, who better knows what you want than yourself? And even if you don't, like, AKA know what you want in life or from society or, you know, from the outside perspective, I mean, you do know what you want. You could feel your body. If your stomach rumbles, you only want two things. It may be something that you need, but right, like, you know, you need to do a lot of things as well. And want and need is a very blurry line for a lot of people. So, anyway, that's my little old man rant. And yeah, so I think I'm just going to continue this later because now I'm starting to get hungry and I think I want to go get some food. So yeah, just if you're new at programming, think about it like this. I just like drew some stuff to represent my idea and then like did like some outlines of things. And essentially what I did in my code, especially with Python, it's like this, you know, I did have to do like a little bit of syntax stuff and whatever, but essentially what I'm doing is, you know, I'm giving things names, I'm thinking my whole problem out, and this is how I start off almost with every project, regardless of whether I'm the person who's coding it or not, person or machine algorithm, regardless of who's coding it, if I'm the person who's starting the project, and I'm thinking about how to take this idea and realize it into something that is a product or that works or, you know, whatever, just to make something that actually realize as some idea that I've had or another person has had. It always for me starts out with this idea of like, okay, doesn't matter what language I'm in, but just it's a class. I mean, obviously it does matter if I'm using Lua, then it's not going to be a class. It's all going to be functional. But at the same time, with Lua, you just think about stuff in a different way. For me, I personally like to think about things with objects because, I don't know, call me a materialist. I'm not actually that materialistic, but yeah. Okay, so let's just, besides preaching and stuff like that, I feel like I've done a lot of preaching and no coding, but I think that's just part of this whole talking to myself while working thing. So, cool. Also, if you're starting out with coding, please get an IDE. An IDE is like this. It's Visual Studio Code. It gives you information. You might notice that I do rely on this. And this is what came out before Copilot. You know, it's been around for a long time. Code suggestion. And it's something that looks through the whole structure, the hierarchy, you know. This is just like an outline. It's a hierarchy as well. Looks at the whole structure of your code and is like, okay, these are the things that you have available when you start typing a dot after this, right? So I've got my completion. I've got, so the completion on Prowl is something that is just the final text output of inline of like what it sees. So like, okay. I feel that if I leave now, then I'm gonna be leaving early, and I don't know when I'm gonna get back to actually making the follow-up video on this. So let's just get through like the broad strokes version of it as quickly as possible so that I can go eat. Crit questions. So I'm gonna say here, which you of critical of at least 4. It's always good if you give the LLM a list. You could say numbered. If you use a number, it will try using numbers. This is what conditioning is. It's a very delicate thing. It doesn't think like humans. I won't get into that. Point is, it's gonna not only try. It's not only going to what seems like attempt to complete your instructions. It's going to try to continue writing in the same way with the same structure and the same features of writing that you're writing in. So that's kind of like what I call conditioning, which is like I'm taking this and it's building up over time, not only towards some sort of a goal in my mind, like a logical goal, but it's also building up towards a condition of writing, or a style of writing as well. Like if you use lists a lot and then you go down and you make another variable that should be a paragraph, it takes a lot of like yelling at it in instructions to tell it, hey, you know, don't make this a list, please. You know, it's almost like you have to use a completely different, you know, you're gonna have to like change it up a little bit or whatever. So, and if you put the temperature too high, then it just won't listen to a lot of your formatting. It's gonna be random what it listens to or not. So we're gonna try and leave the temperature pretty much low on all of these because we're not doing any creative task. And the reason why people call it creativity is because using a higher temperature for creative tasks is good, but that is not what temperature is. Temperature is some sort of an amalgamation of a lot of concepts that doesn't have strict lines drawn around it as a human concept like creativity. It's the human concept temperature. So you just have to deal with it. Like, you know, how do you know how hot is 80 degrees? Well, you got to feel it, and then you can see, oh, okay, that's what 80 degrees means when people say it. But you still only feel what the heat that you feel. You don't, what relatively you feel compared to what they might feel. You don't know actually that. So in actuality, you're just referencing a symbol. Like you're pointing to a map and being like, oh, hey, look, it's this today. And they're like, oh, yeah, it is that today. But nobody's actually there. Come up with a list of at least 4 critical questions, which critical, technical, because I mean all of this obviously is based around technical stuff, critical technical questions, which point out missing what am I trying to say here? Like when you're doing critical thinking about it, so I'm like, hey dude, this is my request, right? Hey bro, hey dev bro, can you make me an app? And I'm like, okay, what kind of fucking app do you want? Okay, let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. Let's make a reusable question-based system. Okay, what we need to do is we need to have something that tells us, like, okay, make a question out of, so make a list of questions to the user about subject to the user. The list questions should be in sequential order and good and lead make a list of number questions. And let me just go ahead and open up a terminal here. Oh yeah, meta agent. Okay. So the list of questions should be in sequential order and lead the user okay. And we're also going to find that by this conditioning, right? Words that semantically mean things are going to push this towards semantically other things which we are not necessarily meaning, right? If you have to be very careful semantically about the words that you choose to use, because they might push the vector of inference out of the area, out of the semantic latent space area that you don't want. So let's see. List of questions should be in sequential order and lead the user. And okay. So I feel that there's a very specific thing, like when a person, so when I want to ask a person a question, right? I'm asking them. So what I want to do here is this. I need critical thinking. So let's just go broad strokes again, sorry. Critical thinking, and I also need questions to user. And see, this might come after critical thinking, which may not even need its own script. Okay, and then user answer. And then we're essentially going to take this. Right, so this is like critical thinking, questions to the user, right? And let's just give this 120 tokens. It's going to be at 0 temperature. And what do I need? What do I need? So come up with a list of questions to ask the user. User answer. And then there's going to be like of yes or no questions to ask the user based off what you need to know. I'll get back to this, but avoid using questions you already know the answer to. Yeah, okay. Okay. I feel they also need an identity. So there should be an identity block. An identity block which gives back the identity of the agent, so to speak. And this might be the system prompt, or like, you know, you're this, you're that, so on and so forth. Like, this is who I am. And then this is what the user, like, this is what the user is, the project that the user is requesting of me. And then I need to critical thinking and based off of that request, and then I need to use that request to come up with a list of questions to ask the user. Oh, so I could make, so here's the point where I could make a prowl tool that just like, I think there is already one that essentially is just a callback. Let's see if I can find it. Ugh. From prowl.tools. Okay, here's all my tools. File include out recall. Okay, I think recall could do it. Let's take a look. Oh. Oh, you're right, tool. Import recall tool. Okay, it's a little bit redundant from Prowl Tools recall tool, import recall tool. But it works. So the idea of that one is I can just set the recall function when I set up the stack. Add tool, recall tool, the stack, and then I can set back my, so what I want this to be is a ask user. Okay. So the recall tool gets a query. Essentially, this recall tool was made to be a wrapper around any sort of RAG, right? But you could use it to wrap any function that's just going to take one argument. Question. Return answer. And this is also async because Prowl stack is fully async. Okay, so for now that's fine. We don't have any answer. But now we can say, okay, so the actual name of the tool is under like a lowercase recall, right? So now we can say recall over here. Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go? What? What? Yeah. Questions to user. Yeah, dude, let's just ask the user directly these questions. User questions. User answer. Yeah, it's just, I mean, let's call things what they are in the variables and in the tags. So the user questions are going to be something that we make up. That's fine. Of course, we can add more stuff in here in between and things to like try and spice up the what the actual questions end up being through, again, conditioning. But we don't need to do that just yet. Let's just focus on getting, so the user, okay, so what happens here is that, right, the recall tool, if I'm not mistaken, here, let's just save everything real quick, just in case. Always save, always save, always save. Okay, recall. What do we got? It's a very simple thing. Yes, your callback must be. Yeah, this is also how you know it's me. It's I do callouts. You know, I do callouts to the year, like, oh, 2024, Nate codes AI. Whoop whoop boop boop. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah. Anyway, so. All right, recall documents from vector store passing in the query and limit through callback. And what does it return? Prowl returns string result data. So it just grabs the result and data from the recall callback, and it sends the query and KW args. So over here, we need to say we should also probably accept KDubs. KDubs, where are you? Args quargs. Args quargs, buddy. Args quargs. All right, so blah. What am I trying to do here? So I can get just like, man, this is from jQuery. Type 1 in the chat if you're actually here watching this, which nobody is. So yeah, you know, whatever. If you're rewatching this, just nod your head. I won't be able to see it. But if you remember jQuery, you get, so here I can get back the value, which could be anything, of a specific variable. So if I want to use a variable from over here, I could say, you know, I want to get back the user answer or some crap like that. But essentially what I'm really trying to get out of here is I'm not trying to get the user answer. I'm not trying to get none of that. I'm trying to get to a place. And all of these are steps along the way. So, you know, it's critical thinking, questions to the user, the answer that the user makes, and so essentially it's going to output that back to. That's what happens. Recall callback, cell stack, blah blah blah. Okay, so yeah, that goes back, and then what do we got here? We got user answer. So that's literally just going to be at recall user questions. Okay. Okay. Boy fix. There's no limit because we don't, you know, there's nothing here. So what's going to happen here is that this tool is going to get called, and then. And you see how I'm doing tools in Prowl? Like, I don't do tools. I'm not like, oh, let's just leave it up to the agent to figure out what tools to call. You know, this is, you're working with agents, or you're working with LLMs, which are like 7 billion parameter models, 7B. Those are small large language models, which is a little bit oxymoronic, but yes, those are just LMs or whatever. They are still LLMs, but they're just in the small tier of LLMs. They're the smallest of the big guys. They're not that, they're 7 times bigger than the smallest, let's just say, because the smallest is usually around 1 billion parameters, I think. That's when you start to get into large territory. So, all right, what do we got? What am I, God. Really gonna have to get used to talking and remembering what the hell I'm doing at the same time. Something I'm not quite good at yet. So what's going to happen here is that this is just going to output back, bam. This is a recall, la la la. I just got a text, so I got sidetracked. Let's see what we got going on over here. Some Discord happening. Moving on our yearly plan. Spoke to the guy yesterday, except for buying now. Clunky link. Okay. All right. I'm here, team. Yeah. When you need. All right. No fire. Okay. Recall user questions. Okay, so that's going to get the answer back from the user, okay? And tool usage for me and prowl means that it's just me being lazy, right? I don't want to I don't want to have to come back out of this stack, right? Oh, and this isn't even I'm not even on the right thing because now we're coding in the meta agent, and this is team. You're the team. You're the team. So over here we'd be like pulling something out, rval, right? Obviously what we want to get out of this is, let's just think about the outputs real quick, because, you know, everything, hold on. So this is what's going on? No, the poop song? No, geez. All right, I don't want to get up. Where is the thing? Yes! This is a book from my childhood in the 80s. A very interesting Japanese person, I think it was, either that or Korean. And yeah. You know, it just makes you think. Everything is a function. That's what I thought when I was a kid. I was like 3 and my mom was reading me this book. She's like, blah, blah, blah. Everybody, cows poop. This guy poops. All those guys poop. Why do they poop? Because they need to eat. And they eat, so they get input. And they get output. Return some output, right? But essentially, like, should I just return back the whole return object on there on the meta agent so that the blah, blah, blah can be done with it? I mean, because we're essentially going to be hard coding stuff into the meta agent. And the other agent is going to be soft coded. It's going to be educated with a very liberal parents. Okay, so generate, blah, blah, blah. Let's get back to focus here. Okay, so what am I doing? Generating agent team. Here's your identity. We should probably put that in there. Identity. And let's just give her let's give a self. Putting the self identity in there. Oop. Okay. So let's say self.identity is equal to you are a god among agents. You make technical agents to solve real problems. Yeah, let's make him very self-important. Very self-important and a vain agent. Okay, and you might be thinking, is this for real? Like, is this code even gonna work? That's kind of like what I was thinking the first time I started coding, these things with LLMs, because it just feels like magic. That first time you're like, whoa. And then the next time you do it, it's kind of like, whoa, still, but it's only like halfway there. You start to get a tolerance for it, is what I'm saying, if you know what I mean. Stack run team. Okay, so now then, we've got its identity in there. We've got its a prompt. Those are the inputs we're getting in from the outside. Now, technically, we could just use these over again, but since this is all just getting filled in inline, that's what the continuation is. It's getting continuously filled out. That means this is the nice thing about Prow. So I can see it in a freaking line in an order, and it's not broken up by Python code. And the LLM can also see it in that same order. So we're looking at the same thing, guaranteed. All right. So user questions. Well, we don't got no user questions, yo. No, it'll recall those user questions. All right, so then, under those, so this is the third step. So as you can see, I'm using these as ways to like outline, or using Markdown, these headers. So if this were to be turned into like a Word document, these would be headers. What I want to do here is I want to say user answer, and then I'm going to say final thoughts. So final critical answers. Write down all of the considerations. It's the other thing about when you're prompting, you got to really be on top of your vocabulary game. It's still a skill issue. It's still a skill issue, bro. Skill issue. It's a skill issue. It's always going to be a skill issue. It'll never stop being one. That's just what it is. So you write down all of your considerations. You have to use the word considerations. Otherwise, you're going to be like, do the thing in the thing, and it's not going to, the vector's going to be pointing everywhere in the fucking latent space. You're going to be lost. It's going to be lost. And then you're going to be like, this shit doesn't work. It's horrible. And that's exactly what it's going to be. So if you, here we go. So write down all of the considerations. Based on user answers and let's just say project considerations. Yes, and using proper grammar is also very important. So proper grammar and proper vocabulary. Knowing your vast vocabulary will get you semantically into places which you cannot reach using mid-tier vocabulary. You got to use that high-tier stuff. Sometimes you got to research, figure out the word that means the thing. As with all prompting, write down all of the final project considerations based on user answers. So then I'm just gonna give it a little bit of one of these. You get that, and then final critical answer, final crit answers. I know this is not going to be enough tokens, but whatever. We aren't actually spending tokens, so it's like that's fine. I just want to keep it because I'm using Mistral Instruct version 2.7b. I know it's very old. It's like 2 years old now. It's like ancient in AI time. It is literally like, oh, the ancients, and what was it, 2021? So crit answers, crit questions, crate, super crate, crit. Okay, so I feel that I've gotten through a little bit of this. This is what you would call a modified, I'm going to call it this, a modified tree of thought technique. And the modified tree of thought technique is essentially stick in a RAG recall that's not a RAG recall. It's literally asking the user some fucking question. All it is this. Do some reflection, figure out some questions of shit that you don't know, ask the user that, and then make some conclusions based off of what the user said on what the project needs to be. And then after that, it's going to be project roles. So we're going to go right into building the team, right? Build a team of people. Yeah, we're going to lie to this thing and tell it it's people. Build a team of people who will be able to complete this project. And then we can also decide, that the team should be balanced with and small should have no more than team size. Team should have no more than team size roles. And so essentially, I think what we're going to do here is each of these agents, we could give them a background. Go, you've got a PhD in math science, blah, 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 so on and so forth and so forth, right? We can lie the crap out of these things into acting like the way that they should be acting. And essentially, that's what all of this is. You're Jediing an autocomplete system, right? There's autocomplete, you're used to it. It doesn't work, it's clunky. And then you're using the force to get into the thing's mind and be like, okay, now we're gonna do this. And it's like, yes, we're gonna do this. And then that's what LLMs are. It's autocomplete Jedi mind tricks, something like this. Build a team of people who will be able to complete this project. The team should have no more than team size roles. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna push this on for maybe maximum another 20 minutes, and then I'm definitely gonna go get some food. All right, so build a team of people. The team should have no more than blah. I might even eat some yogurt while I'm talking randomly. And I haven't even run any of this code yet. I'm just coding it out. I feel like Hakawatha. Yeah, that's a throwback. It's a poem from before people didn't just make up random domain names and expect people to show up there on the internet. Build a team of people who will be able to blah. Team should have no more than blah roles, and make a list of team members. The list should be in the format role job description. And usually I don't even do that because it's going to try. This is where what I'm talking about conditioning. What you're actually doing is called I'm calling it conditioning. And what you think you're doing when you're writing these instructions is giving logical instructions to a thing, like a person. Which in this case you kind of are, and that's kind of why this is all written out like this, and that's why LLMs work the way that they do, and that's why they have all these instruct tuning and blah 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 blah, because it's all just tricking autocomplete into thinking it's an AI, because an AI would statistically say XYZ, and that's essentially it. It's a virtualization of AI. It's not AI. It's virtual AI at best. Okay. So it's like when you have an idea, right? You want to make a team. You want to get that team together, and the team needs to be based off of roles. Like, okay, we need a this, we need a marketer, we need a blah blah, we need a quality assurance guy, and also, we should be able to take this team, and break it down into more teams. So essentially, we should be able to like take the prompt and say like, okay, we have XYZ, 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 XYZ already, and we need another team of people who's based off of this team that's doing XYZ. I don't know. I don't know why I said XYZ so many times. This, that, and the other, you could say. All right, so write the list of roles, and then just a roles list, or just call them roles directly. And this could be a like something 20 or 1, 2, 120, 320, like this. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to get going, but essentially you get the idea. The next round we're gonna be running this and debugging it and all this other fun stuff, which is gonna be pretty cool, pretty fun to watch. Try to get it all working and stuff like that. Until next time, please follow me or whatever. I will definitely be doing this more often. And if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I'd be happy to see you all back. Thanks a lot. Oh my gosh, my screen just died. Oh, please. Oh, come back. Oh, you're back. Oh, you're back. You're back. All right. Ciao, ciao.